Yes, and welcome to the GameFace Footy Show for the Southern Football Netball League Division 2. My name is Russell Robertson. We are doing it all live here down at GameFace Studios, Studio 1, where it all goes down. I can tell you right now, there's one bloke not here. Chris Thompson is not here because Springvale have lost, for the second time, Wilbur, this year?
Yeah, and I lost big on the weekend as well.
They lost big on the weekend, but the last time they lost big, he wasn't here as well. So
he's making a habit of this.
I'm dodgy at best, that Tomo. We'll talk about that game in a minute. Murrumbeena coach Paul Halroyd is in the studio. Keezy Thumb Springvale, as I just said, in a stunning performance. Reed bags 8 in the Eagles' big win, and the Beena salute in Owen Lewis's 250 game. Speaking of the Beena, we do have the coach of the Beena here. Paul, how are you, mate?
Good, mate. Good. Thanks for having me in.
Yeah, you'd be feeling pretty good about the weekend, mate, and the way things are going this year. So.
Yeah, we're going okay at the moment, but things have sort of gone our way a little bit in the second, or after the first couple of games. So yeah, we're pretty happy at the moment, but still a lot of work to do. Most clubs.
Up against some tough teams too, and the Beena have been pretty solid for the last 2 or 3 years, so you'd be happy enough with that, but probably just looking to go that next step against the likes of Keezy, Springy and Dovey. They're right around the mark, aren't they? Flogged Dovey a couple of weeks back, so you'd be happy with that.
Yeah, we were. We got off to a bit of a slow start there. We were probably 6 or 7 goals down in the first quarter, and I don't know what happened there. We sort of turned it around, we switched on, and took the next 3 quarters over, but I don't know, maybe Dufton thought they had it won or whatever, I don't know. There's a bit of a change in attitude or mindset or whatever, but we took advantage of it and away we went.
Now, speaking of attitude, Wilbur's over there. I know you've got a question to go with, Wilbur. Your turn.
Yeah, mate, you've had a couple of injuries throughout the year, but you're now starting to get a few players back. Tell us about who are some of the guys you've had out throughout the season and how those guys are tracking.
Yeah, they're going okay. I mean, it's just slowly. Like Mitch Walder's been out for most of the year. Harley Ambrose, Alistair Bradley. We've had a lot of soft tissue injuries. Jay Bruno's, he had a bad knee there for a while, and he had another injury. He tried to come back a little bit, not early, but he had another unfortunate incident when he came back against Hampton. There's been quite a few, but as I said, they're gradually coming back. We had another 5 changes, 5 outs last week and 5 back in. So, yeah, hopefully pretty soon we'll start getting into a groove and getting our side settled.
Speaking of getting into a groove, you've now won 7 on the trot. You lost your first 2 against some of the top sides in the competition, but 7 wins in a row with, the injuries that you've had and all those changes, that sort of stuff. Got to be pleased with that and the way that your boys have put the foot down and really got things going.
Yeah, there's just been a bit of a shift in attitude with a lot of the players. Like a lot of the local guys have probably been our biggest improvers, really. They've just really, a lot of them had a fantastic pre-season and they're putting their best foot forward and doing all the right things and just holding their spot. So the depth at the club is really good. At any one time, we've had maybe 7 or 8 injuries and been able to win and win well. So we're pretty happy with the attitude and the work that the boys have been putting in. And like we keep preaching to them, if they do the work, the results will come. So that's pretty much what we're focusing on.
Now, Roy, let's just shift the focus off the club and more about yourself and your coaching technique. Now, you come from Chelsea. You played a bit of footy at Chelsea. I don't know if you come from Chelsea, but you played early football at Chelsea. You went down to Sandy Zebras as an assistant coach there for a while, runner, boot starter, and mental health coach as well. And now you...
Nath Carroll.
Nath Carroll. I can feel your pain, mate. Feel your pain. Enough said. St Paul's, 5 years there, a couple of premierships, which is fantastic, and then on to the Beena now. Let's find a bit more about yourself and your coaching style.
We have to.
How do you approach it, mate? Just rock up on time, yell a bit and leave?
Oh, no, we put a bit into it. We sort of, a lot of it's pre-planned, we do a lot of stats and that for the boys, and obviously it's the same thing. If we just get them fit enough to be able to make the right decisions on the day and play the game out, and we put ourselves in the best position as far as our positive consequences and what works for us and what doesn't work for us. That's pretty much what we go. So if the facts and figures are there, the boys are there for them to see. They pretty much know what works for them, and away we go.
One of the questions I want to ask someone of an older generation, Will, but not young like you, one of our generation, is we come from a different football factory. I mean, back in the day, you used to call a spade a spade. Can't necessarily do that anymore. Can understand the present environment, but how hard do you find that? I mean, you do have to massage a little bit with kids these days, otherwise they'll probably go down the road. Is that true? Because a lot of people talk about it out there. Can't coach like Ron Barassi used to coach.
No.
Yeah, you have to take lessons in how to coach these days.
I think you're absolutely right. There's no question about it. I mean, you can't. You've got to make sure that everyone's happy. You've got to treat everyone as an individual. Yeah. Not so much everyone can cop the same medicine, so to speak. So it's just a matter of getting to know your players and just making sure that you know them a little bit more intimately. And just the old sprays, they just don't work anymore. I mean, you get them you give them out every now and then, but it is completely different. It's got to make sure you communicate and just touch them a little bit, I suppose, to the inner side rather than just football.
Yeah, correct.
Plenty of characters at this Murrumbeena Footy Club as well, and a few players in some really good form. Jake Samuel's been shooting the lights out this season. The Brazel brothers have been great pickups. Who've been some of the standouts in your opinion?
You're right. With Jake Samuel, he's had a fantastic season so far. Jamie Hackett, he's been sensational. The recruits, the Brazel boys, they've been excellent. You can throw Nick in the midfield, forward, wherever you like. He had probably 9 shots on goal on the weekend. And Fenton, his brother. We've got Matty Campbell, who came down with the Brazel boys. We've got Wade King. He's come down from Benalla. Matty Lello, centre half back. I can keep going on and on and on. So unfortunately, I'll probably end up missing someone. But Matty, we tried to play him forward early doors, and we shifted him to his natural backline, and he's been absolutely sensational since then.
Pretty handy list you got at your disposal. But the club as a whole is going in a fantastic direction. I mean, the women's sides, both of them are doing pretty well. Rezzies and the netball, they're all kicking goals everywhere. So you guys are doing a lot of things right, both on and off the field, and great to see. The senior boys training and doing the warm ups with the women as well. It's a fantastic club environment, isn't it? It
is. It's sensational. Like you're saying, the girls, they lost their first game in 2.5 years on the weekend by 7 points. So. They've been outstanding. It's just a great feel around the club. Everyone's up and about. They're really keen on doing the work as much as they can, or doing the same sort of work as the boys do. But like I said, there's been a shift in attitude. It's just a great club. Everyone realises it's a great club, and they're prepared to do as much work as they possibly can for success.
I really like that, Wilbur, because football has gone from being you played with your mates back in the day. That's the only reason you played at your local football club, and you stayed there, and it went into a bit of money, didn't it? Money comes in from the farmers out in the country, and then whatever businesses get involved in your football clubs, and blokes are just playing for the cash. You can't do that anymore. There's rules and regs that have come into it, and now you've got to have a good culture at your club, and I love that. I love the fact that it's gone back to having a good culture, looking after your players, looking after your volunteers, looking after all the special people around your football club, and I'm sure Murrumbeena are doing that.
No, they've been great. I mean, they're in a pocket there where there is a lot of football clubs, there's a lot of schools and that take a lot of your juniors and whatnot, but for the guys to be able to want to come across, I mean, even from last year, we only had no one left. We had 2 retirements, and that was it. So, we know we're on a good thing, but it's just a matter of transferring that onto the football field and make sure we have the success.
Speaking of good thing, you were a good thing on the weekend against Chelsea Heights. 12-16-88. You got over them 6-7-43. It was Owen Lewis's 250th game. Well done to him in the league. Best players for both sides, Wilbur. Did you have a chance to have a look at this one? Let's rip into it.
I didn't have a good look, but the man being between us can probably give us a fair summation of how the game transpired.
We got off to a little bit of a slow start. Chelsea Heights got out to a flyer, so we can't take anything away from them. But yeah, they were really good. We sort of feel that most of the sides sort of aim to knock us off, so we're prepared for a battle from any side that we come up against. But we went in at half time and we were level pegging, and a few of the boys stepped up, and once again it was those positive consequences. If we do certain things, the scoreboard will start ticking over. Yep. We started putting our foot to the metal, and away we went. So yeah, it was a good win in the end. It was a little bit frustrating early, but I can't take anything away from Chelsea Heights. I thought they were really good in the first half.
Yep, very competitive, and of course, as you said, Robbo, 250 games for Owen Lewis. He's a star of this competition. Don't worry about that. And a man you know reasonably well. He's played in a couple of flags at St Paul's under you. He's a fantastic character, isn't he?
He is. He's a great guy. He really is a great guy, and he's a real genuine footballer. He loves training. He makes sure he does train. He just prepares himself well, and he gets the best out of himself. And like you said, he played in a couple of flags at St Paul's. He basically was playing in the reserves for a few years there, and we saw a bit of an opening for him, and he took it with both hands, and now he's a dual premiership player. And I've been lucky enough to coach him for 7 years, and I really appreciate the successes he's also given me, or the big part that he's had as well. So congratulations to Owen.
Yeah, he's a star.
Extremely lucky to have Paul Holroyd, the coach, Holroyd, say it right, of the Murrumbeena Football Club. Am I saying it right?
Yeah, that's it. That was the second one.
We'll go with that one. Coach of the Murrumbeena boys. Let's get into the other results, and I'm keen to get your ideas on these football clubs too, because you're playing against them. If you haven't played against all of them now, you probably most of them. Heatherton, 6-9-45, defeated by East Brighton, 14-50. Very inaccurate there, very close game. Tunners led all day. East Brighton only 2 goals last quarter to steal it. Just jump in any time you like, Will. Did you catch much of that one?
I didn't, but from what I understand, East Brighton, they really came to play in that last quarter and, kept Heatherton scoreless, kicked the only 2 goals of it and pinched the nail-biter.
Sky 7-9-51. They were defeated by the Duffton Eagles 20-11-131. No surprises there. Reid kicks 8 goals though in a best on ground performance, which is wonderful to see because the man, he's been a good player for a long time. Probably a little bit overweight for a while, but he's probably his knees have let him down. Roy, I don't know if you know much about Ruda, but he's.
I don't know a whole heap about him, but it's a fantastic effort on the weekend. Kick 8 goals against any side. Yeah. It's a great effort.
Good to see him back out in the park, and he actually go for a run now and look after himself a bit. His knees have been under the pump for a lot of years. Caulfield 8-7-55, defeated by Hampton 13-11-89. Hammers had nose in front all day, but put away late to secure the win. Will, any points on that one?
Yeah, important win for Hampton. So they now go 2 games clear in 5th spot. Caulfield now 6th. And they've probably got an uphill battle to make the top 5, I think, Caulfield. So a very important win there for the Hammers, an 8-pointer.
And Roy, the match of the round was billed to be the match of the round. It turned out to be a bit of a fizzer, especially for Springvale. 4-8-32. They were defeated by the Keezy boys, 21-12-138. Now, we expected this to be a bit of a shootout because both teams have got some really big forwards that can kick a bag on their day. But speaking of goals, there wasn't too many for the Springy boys. Their first came in the 20 seconds of the game. Sutton Hughes laid 93 tackles. A goal first 20 seconds of the game was by Keysborough, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course.
Springvale, there wasn't too many. Outstanding pressure all over the field for the Keezy boys. Crowe reckons it was the best footy they could have seen. And Rhett Powell, apparently, was absolutely sensational. He's been fantastic all year, Will. We've mentioned him many times on this panel. But I've read something online to say that he is surely this far away from getting a Collingwood VFL start-up.
He's on the VFL Academy list at Collingwood, and he's playing some beautiful footy there for Keezy. Springvale simply had no answers for them. Sutton was huge in the ruck, as you said. They just got first use of the footy. According to Crowe, they laid 93 tackles for the game, so their pressure was just simply outstanding and ticked all the boxes. Very disappointing there from Springvale.
Now, I don't know what you guys wear at your football club, Murrabina, Roy, but we wear Swiv's Locker around this place. Swiv's Locker, we've got the garb on at the moment. If you're after some top quality apparel for your football club, make sure you get in touch with Swiv's Locker. Polos, hoodies, caps, vests, jackets, and new ugly sweaters. We wore those probably about 6 weeks ago now on one of our shows. They are ugly, but they are warm. They're good.
I rode them.
Get them in your colour.
Robbo.
Yeah, pretty good. You can get them in your club colours, and if you're a Melbourne supporter, you can wear it to the snow because Melbourne ain't winning at the moment. Swivs are the best in the business. Inbox the GameFace Facebook page, and we can send out some samples to you. They do small, large, medium. They do triple extra large, Will. They do the whole lot. They're great. They're fantastic. Thanks to our great friends and sponsors here at GameFace, Swiv's Locker. Let's move on now to the ladder after round 9. I have it here. No, actually move back a bit. Kick it in for brain cancer. Now, you can talk about this one. Heatherton versus Chelsea Heights. You're all over this. Sunday, 23rd of June at Ross Street. Heatherton kicking it for brain cancer.
Yeah, fantastic initiative from the club. It's a charity match, standalone game down there, Heatherton and Chelsea Heights, but off the field's where most of the action's going to be. It's in memory of Nicholas Quinn, who passed away in March this year from brain cancer. He's in his early 40s, Robbo, which is far too soon, and of course, he leaves behind a wife, Mandy, and 2 daughters. Mandy's been instrumental at the Heatherton Netball Club, done some great work there. So they're doing a bit of fundraising for the Cure for Brain Cancer Foundation. Seniors will be wearing some specially designed jumpers on the day, which is absolutely fantastic. Awesome. Plenty of activities for the kids, a giant slide, jumping castle, face painting, pony rides, handball comp, the works. They'll be doing donations, raffles, auctions throughout the day, which is really good. And here's a key thing, this one I really like. So Shane Stork Gibbs, the 284-game veteran, has been growing a beard since November 1, 2017. Put yours to shame, Robbo.
I'm sure it would.
They reckon it's a pretty ordinary type setup, but he's going to let the coach Shane Sheedy shave it off in the rooms after the game to raise a couple of funds for that charity, which is tremendous. So well done, Stork. Great job. $5 entry for kids. Standalone Sunday game. So if you're not doing anything on Sunday, make sure you get down and support a wonderful cause.
Yeah, a lot to like about all of that stuff there, Roy. I mean, that's what football clubs are all about. You get around your people, and we see a young man who's unfortunately met his demise in the country. And the papers today, which is a shattering story, especially for those parents that have to deal with that sort of stuff. But you watch as that football club will get right around that family and right around that young man's friends to make sure they're okay. That's the great thing about football clubs, and I'm sure Bena is exactly the same.
Absolutely. Yep.
Good stuff. Let's have a look at the ladder after round 9. Keysborough sitting just pretty on top. 8 wins, 1 loss. It's a little bit. They've played 1 less game, I believe, Will, because of the anomalies of the Queen's birthday game that were played, and then Springvale and Doveton played
Good
a standalone
Friday
game.
and all that
It's
sort of
a little
stuff.
bit mixed up there, but that's okay. They're doing it nicely on top with a very healthy percentage. Springvale sitting second. They'll bounce back after their loss on the weekend to Keysy. Doveton third and Murrumbeena are probably sitting around about the same spot, those teams. They'll be fighting it out come September, I'm sure. Should we be talking about September?
Not
Coach?
really. Not really.
No, we don't talk
Not at
about,
all.
We don't talk about that yet. And then we see Hampton rounding out the top 5. Caulfield, East Brighton, Chelsea Heights, Heatherton and Sky at the bottom of the ladder there. Will?
Would like to get your thoughts, Roy. You've now, I think, played every single one of these sides. Who do you reckon's the best side in it? I mean, we'll take Murrumbeena out of the equation just for now. From your point of view, from where you sit, who's the biggest threat to Murrumbeena, I guess?
That's a good question. We played Keysborough and Springvale districts in round 1 and round 2. We were up right against with Keysborough right to the very end, but Springvale districts, they sort of ran over the top of us a little bit. But yeah, I'm not quite sure. Like Doveton Eagles, they're always fantastic on their day. Yeah, it's going to be tight. I really think that all 4 sides are pretty evenly matched, but if Keysborough and Springvale want to fight each other on Facebook or whatever about who's going to win the flag, we'll see go for it.
Go right ahead. We've been putting the pressure on both teams, haven't we, Will?
Exactly right, and I'm loving it too.
For a while now. Pressure, talk about pressure. Getting into the team of the week. A lot of boys out there playing every week, they play solely to get into the GameFace team of the week, I'm sure. Not at Murrumbeena, but on every other team. There's a few Beena boys in the team of the week this week. I'm going to hand it over to Will now. You can read through every single position from the back line all the way through to the interchange bench. Go if you like.
Alrighty, so Tomo's not here, obviously, but he's given us a bit of a hand with this one, so thanks to you again, Tomo. Even when he's not here, he's still contributing. So from the back line, Aaron McElroy from Keysborough, Darren Walsh from Chelsea Heights, and Tommy State from Caulfield retains his spot. Good on you, Statey. The half back line, David Monaghan from Springer Districts, Matt Lello, centre half back from Murrumbeena. He's been in great form, and Jacob Flannery from Heatherton. In the centre line, Nick Battle from Doveton just getting it done. Lou Roberts from Hampton and Jamie Hackett from Murrumbeena. He's been outstanding as well for you guys as well.
He has.
Half forward line, Nick Brazel kicked 4 on the weekend, I believe.
He did. Yep.
Lockie Dixon from Caulfield, centre half forward, and Tim Werner from Keysy. I think he had 6 or something on the weekend. He had a very, very good day.
Yep.
Nathan Foster from East Brighton, Adam Reid with his bag of 8 at full forward, and Jared O'Neill from Doveton got a couple of snags as well. In the ruck, Bryce Sutton from Keysborough, he was a lock for that spot, had an absolute blinder. Riet Powell, he had a very good day out as well. And Jake Samuel, as we spoke about early in the show, Murrumbeena, he's just been absolutely outstanding this season. And on the interchange bench, Marcus Lavender from East Brighton, Geordie Perryman from Chelsea Heights, Ryan Bombergoods from Keysborough, and Nathan McConville from Sky. And of course, the coach of the team of the week is this man, Roy Howroyd.
Yeah, good on you. Very nicely done, Wilbur. Roy, we'll get your tips on with Wilbur here. Round 10 coming your way, brought to you by Melsafe. A couple of good games here. It looks like the first one might be a little bit easier to tip. Caulfield versus Springvale Districts at Caulfield. I'll go with you, Will, first, and then you, Roy, second.
I think that Springy Districts will have a big win here, unfortunately, for the Bears. They're going to come out firing after their performance last Saturday.
Yeah, I think Springvale Districts will be hurting from last week, so yeah, unfortunately I think that they might get over the top of Caulfield at home.
Yep.
You got Sky versus East Brighton. Could it be a win for Sky? Chance, Wilbur, at all?
They're a big chance. They're a really, really big chance. It's always a hard place to play down there at Carrum Downs Reserve. I think I might go East Brighton though.
Sky East Brighton, I think Sky would just about have had enough. I reckon they'll get up this week against East Brighton.
Hampton will be hosting the Doveton Eagles. You would have thought the Eagles will get that one, Wilbur.
Yeah, I think so. But Hampton, they should make a pretty good contest of it, I think, Roy.
Yeah, Doveton Eagles, probably from the bigger ground to the smaller grounds, obviously it's going to be a different way that they need to play. But I still think that the Eagles probably not as much as what everyone thinks, but I think they'll get over the line.
Yep.
Now, this will be interesting, Roy, because whenever Wilbur has someone on the panel, he always tips with that team. So I'm expecting that he's going to choose Murrumbidgee here, especially at home. You would say something like that. But Keysborough, you get your second look at it, mate. This is going to be a fantastic game. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, we're pretty positive. Like I said, we took it up to them in the first round, but they had a fantastic win last week, so who knows what they're thinking. We just got to, if we bring our A game against, we did against Doveton Eagles, and we've done a pretty good job on them down there at our ground. So if we're up and about, we're every chance. But as I said, Keysborough are in really good form at the moment.
Yep.
So I'm going to tip Murrumbidgee though. Thanks, Robbo.
Does LJ come back into the side this week?
Luke's probably got another week off, unfortunately. We'll see how we go. We're not quite sure. I spoke to him not long before I came in here, so he's just got a bit of a problem with his foot at the moment. But as soon as he gets over that, he'll be back on board. But we'll just wait and see.
Yeah, I might tip Murrumbidgee.
Oh,
You knew I was going to do that. You knew I was going to do that. Yeah, Murrumbidgee for me.
It is funny, though. I will say this. There are 4 teams up the top of the ladder there. And you just can't pick any one on any given day. It's all about who rolls up on the days. And look, I think Doveton probably trouble Keysborough a bit. Keysborough probably at the moment, how far ahead are they? But they'll always battle against Doveton, and we'll probably battle against Springvale. So it all comes down to how you play on the day, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Look, it's it is very even up there. There's no question about it. And like you say, if you come with the right mindset and the right attitude, and you're raring to go, it doesn't matter whether you're playing home or away. Yeah, you can definitely get over the top. There's no question about that.
Absolutely. And rounding out round 10 will be Heatherton hosting Chelsea Heights. This will be an interesting game, actually. Both teams right down the bottom of the ladder, 1 and 2 wins respectively. But if you've got nothing else to do, I'd go and check that game out, because it might be a little bit. It'll be on for young and old, I would have thought, Will.
Definitely. As we spoke about earlier in the show, big day down there for Heatherton, plenty going on, and I think that'll probably spur them to a victory, I think.
Heatherton pipped Chelsea Heights at Chelsea Heights in round 1. So, and like you say, there's a significant game from this weekend, so I'll go for Heatherton, I think.
It will be a ripping game down there. Make sure you get down, as we spoke about. Kicking it for brain cancer, Heatherton versus Chelsea Heights. That game will be kicking off at the usual time. Plenty of action for all families if you want to go down and get involved with some fun and look after a fantastic cause for a fantastic family, all to do with that football club. It's been a great show. Thanks very much for coming along, Roy. We've enjoyed your input. Murrumbidgee, we wish them all the best for the rest of the season. Go well this weekend against a really good team. I'm sure you'll bring it up to them.
Thanks very much. I'm looking forward to the game, and thanks for having me in.
Will we go and check that game out?
I hope so. It'll be an absolute belter. Absolute beauty.
What else are you going to do, mate? He's got nothing.
I've got nothing.
You're going to go to date or something like that? Give me something, mate. Give me something. Nothing. He's got nothing.
You put me on the spot here, mate.
That's been the GameFace Footy Show for the Southern Football Netball League Division 2. It's been an absolute ripper. Thanks to you, Roy. Thanks to Wilbur. We'll see you next week. Bring you all the action from round 10 from Division 2.